Hello again, it's Elizabeth. I'm over here in my art loft, and I told you I would show you how I put the journaling pages on the back page and how to put on the cover. So that's what I'm here to do today. The first thing is to take your journaling pages, and these will be 9 inches wide by 6 inches high, and you will, of course, distress all the edges, put a border around all the edges with your distress ink, just like I did on the other ones, except this time I didn't bore you with watching me do it. I did it ahead of time. See that little blue there? Yep, that's it. Then you're going to take your book, and your book was folded over, and it was a 1/4 inch here. We want a little bit of room for that back spine of the journaling part. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that little fold that was there. We're going to move it slightly to the left of one of the fold spaces on your folding board. Now, if you're doing this just with a ruler or whatever, then you can move it over slightly, and we're going to give it an indentation there, and then we're going to move it again and give it another indentation, so that you have like 3 tiny little folds. I don't know if you can tell that on there, but there are 3 like little folds, 1/8 inch from one side to the far side, and then one in the middle. And that gives it, if you roll that, that'll give you a little room for that, those pages to fit up in there, because pages have a thickness. So you can see that, how that works. You've got a little bit of space that all those pages fit up in there. Okay? So we've done that, and now we're ready to put the holes in that we're going to sew through to put this journaling area in the back. If you don't want to sew it in, you can simply tip in pages, and what that means is that you would fold over like 1/8 of an inch, and you would glue that one down, and then fold over 1/8 of an inch and put another one down, and so on. And you can have, without sewing at all, you can have a lovely little journal as well. In this case, I have a pin that says, "Kiss me, I'm French." I'm not French, but I have the pin, and I use that as my awl to punch the holes. What we're going to do is punch a hole from the top, in through the spine, in through all of these pages, through this the fold that we have here. So we're going to put that into the fold as far as we can. We're going to center it top to bottom, and then we're going to punch 3 holes. We're going to punch one right in the middle, which should be right at the 3 inch mark, and that's right about here. You can see that come out right there. See that? Ta-da! Then we're going to punch one that's about 3/4 of an inch from the top. This is the bottom, but we're going to do the bottom first and then do the top. How's that? Well, you can do it a whole inch. It doesn't really matter. It just has to be about 3/4 to an inch from the top and from the bottom. And it doesn't really matter if they're totally equally spaced. I mean, if they're not totally equally spaced, if this one from the top to that is not equal to from that side to there, it's not going to make any difference. It might look a little bad. Might not look as beautiful on the outside. And you can curl those pages over to hold them. It's a little easier. And I just sight that, and I'm making that about 1 inch from that edge. So we have 3 holes, one right here, and one right here to do our sewing. To do your sewing, you're going to select a thread. Now, you can use sewing thread, but I would double that up or triple it up or whatever. And you want kind of a longish piece, because you want to be able to use that to tie your book together as a closure. If you want to use that for that. I usually wax my thread in the bottom of this was a Altoids can, and I put a piece of marbled paper on the top, and then in the bottom of it I melted beeswax, so I'd have it handy, and then I just hold that down and slide my thread through. I've done that already, so that you don't have to watch me do that little boring act. Then you have to thread your needle, which is probably the hardest part of this whole thing, but it can be done. Make that as flat as you can. Slide that through the eye of your needle. Your needle should be a darning needle. Shouldn't actually be sharp on this end, because you're not wanting to punch the papers now. You've already done that. You're just wanting to go through the holes you've already made, and to make sure you can realign those, make it easy on yourself. You want to go through the middle hole first. So you go into there, all the way into the middle of your pages, and leave a nice size tail so that you can tie it. Then you want to come out one end or the other. I'm coming out the top end. You want to go all the way to the other end, to the bottom in this case, and go back through all of your pages again. Okay, so you'll have this one big loop from the top to the bottom, and then you want to come out in the middle again. Now when you come out in the middle, you want to make sure that you don't pierce any of that thread if possible. So you kind of hold that one to one side and you pull that through. And when you come out, you want to have your threads one on each side of that long thread that went from top to bottom. Then you're ready to tie it off. Come on. And you'll want to tie it off with a single knot. And then when you do the knot, the square knot, if you give it an extra turn through there, it will make it so that it never comes loose, and you'll have a nice fat knot there. I chose golden thread this time. I just thought it'd be a nice contrast to everything. Okay, so we can take our needle off there, put our needle away so it doesn't get lost, and now we want to put the cover on this. So to put the cover on this, all we do is we apply an 1/8 inch of tape, 1/8 inch score tape again, to this little tiny edge that's here. You want to put it all the way to the edge of the paper, all the way from the bottom to the top. Easy peasy. And just tear that off there. Then we want to take our whatever paper you've decided to be the cover. In this case, I'm going to use this plain green because I think it's going to be a nice color for that. And we want to put that in there as close as we can. It's going to not be right. I mean, you'll see a little bit of white in there when you're doing it because this is the cover, and this little bit is going to come up over it like a spine piece would be on a book, like a, if you had an essay book or whatever, it would have a little spine piece on it like this. A lot of books do. Okay, so that's going to come up and over it. And if we just, and I've pre-inked the edge of this also. So we take our tape a little bit loose, not the whole thing, because you don't want to take the chance of getting that in the wrong spot. You just push it up and over it again. And when you push that up and over it, then you can hold everything. Hold this down, pull that out, and make sure you've got that square with the pages of your journal. And you see that's square with the pages of my journal. And then you've got your little cover piece. It's not perfect, but if you don't like that, then put a little piece of washi tape. No one will ever know. In this case, I was going to make this fold either over this way to just give another little interest. See, so that all those pages stay closed. Or you could fold it back this way and have an extra little tuck space pocket there. Okay, so that's the journal part, the journaling piece in the back, and now we're ready to put the cover pieces on. I've pre-cut, so that I wouldn't have to do that on camera. I've pre-cut 2 pieces, which are 5 7/8. And if they're not totally smooth there, you can take a little piece of sanding paper, a fingernail file, whatever, to make them totally smooth if they're not. And they're 5 7/8. And the reason for that is that you want them 1/8 away from this fold. And the reason you want them 1/8 away from that fold is because if you don't have them that way, it makes it harder to open. So I always make it 5 7/8. So what I'm going to do is put tape on this. And I usually use my 1/2-inch tape because, well, you know, it's the cover and I'm making it secure. So we'll simply put, and I should have had some of these already done, but it doesn't take much time to put this tape on, and if you don't lose your scissors. There you are. Sometimes you lose your scissors. Sometimes you lose your mind. Sometimes you lose your mind and your scissors. Okay, and the little one on this side. You could do it with the smaller tape. I feel more secure with the larger tape, and it just, I don't know, it just feels like it makes the book sturdier, because you want your book to be able to stand up, you know, not, and I do put, not fall over, not any of that stuff. And I do put tape along here. Now, had to get bigger than you're supposed to be. Come on, baby. You're not going to do right, are you? There we go. Just make that fall over there. And we have one more space. Yes, I know. I forgot the bottom, or whichever piece it is. Okay, put a little bit there. Let me do it this way. Can you see that okay? Okay. And if you don't get it perfectly straight, it's not going to matter that much, but sometimes take my X-Acto knife and cut right there, but that's fine. Okay, so we want to have our cover on perfectly straight. We don't want our thread where it's going to get under the cover. So we're going to open these up, and I'm doing opposite corners. Come on, you. So I can get them positioned before I tape it down. Okay, and it had to tear, so I'll have to get that little piece off of there. Okay, so we have our tape hanging out like this. Now we can position it so that that's perfectly aligned with that corner, and perfectly aligned with this corner down here. And once it's perfectly aligned with the corners, you can see if it's perfectly aligned with the sides, and then you can press down those opposite corners, and you're ready to peel all that tape out because it's being held in position, and you have all your tape going away, and you have your front cover. And you see it doesn't extend beyond the book or anything like that. It looks lovely. And now for the back cover. The back cover is a little trickier because you've got the string. You have to watch your string. Don't get in the way. Okay, once again, this mat board actually has a little bit of texture to this side and smoother on this side. So I always apply the smooth side to it. Can make sure it fits. Why, yes, it does. And we're going to put our tape on again. Get out of the way, string. Evenly on there. Evenly on there. And then the ones in between. Can you see that? Yes. Good. And if you want, you can use your X-Acto knife to make that cut right there. Because it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It just peels loose there. And here we go. Okay, so we peel the corner, peel this corner, come on, thought I had it, there we go, those two, these two. I don't know why, but my ring finger on my right hand fingernail works the best for getting that tape liner loose from that lovely Sookwang Scor Tape. Okay, so we have that. We're going to line it up again to this corner, to the edge of that page, to that corner, edge of the page, corners. And when we're ready, we push down the corners that are open. This one's open over here, and this one's open. So we'll push those two down. Everybody looks like they're lined up. Peel those out. Make sure our strings are not in there. Push that down. You can push that down from the inside. And now we have a back cover. Now we want the spine piece, and I usually open the book up to the center when I'm doing the spine piece because then it'll lay flatter. And the spine piece is cut 6 inches by 1 3/4 because your spine area is 1 3/4 from fold to fold. So on this one I'm going to use this for the top and bottom. Let's get on screen here. Top or bottom, I don't know. Yeah, they're both the same. It's exactly the same because it's exactly the same height, width at the top and at the bottom, so it really doesn't matter which is the top and which is the bottom. Down to there. Make that even there. And just for fun, let's just, oh, what the heck, we'll just go ahead and use this. Because we want the spine area is more important to be totally secure than the front and back because it holds all of the pages vertically as, when it's sitting on the shelf. So, of course, you can lay it flat to store it too. You don't have to have your little journal sitting on a shelf. And to make that more secure, we'll just take a nice other one of these. What is in there? Something's in there in between that. Ah, come on. You know what? Cut that. Open it up there and look. There's some kind of little bump that I can open. It's on this side. Bump that I can feel in there. And I don't want a lump in my spine. So I'm going to cut that little bit of tape out of there. Somehow I got a piece of something. I think it's another piece of tape, actually, the way it looks. That's weird. Okay, we don't need that. And we're not going to have that. So we're taking it out. There you go. See that? I didn't add that. Some kind of weird lump. Okay. Well, we'll have that piece of tape missing, so we'll have to peel that way. But we're going to put one more down the middle, and then it will be really secure against the spine, so that it won't. So it'll give it more support when it's standing on a shelf. That's the point of it. Yes. Okay, we take this whole thing out though because we won't have any way to peel this out from the edge. But we don't. If we lay it down on the spine when we're putting it on there, if we lay it down kind of lightly, we won't have it won't stick to that because this stuff is dimensional enough. When you've got them peeled back like that, it's dimensional enough that it gives a little bit of dimension between the sticky and the spine. So when we do that, we'll be okay. So we're going to get this closer to me. It'll make it easier. And I'm going to put it side to side. And I'm going to just kind of lay that down. See all my little things sticking out so I can peel all that out. I'm going to make sure that my space between my spine and my front cover is the same as my space between my spine and my back cover. Can you see those the little lines in there with the additional, color of the paper showing through? And then I'm going to press that down, and we have as soon as we peel these out and stick the rest of it down, we have a perfect, oops, we're going this way. we have a perfect binding to our little book. And it's not perfectly stuck down yet. What I usually do is I go through the middle, I push down in the spine, push down in the hinge of each of the pages, and then go back to the middle and go the other way and push those down so that they get good contact between that tape that was on the spine and the tape and the pages themselves. And that's how you do a cover, and that's how you do the little journal in the back. Give me a like if you like it. If you don't, well, you can give me a thumbs down if you have to. But subscribe if you like. Watch for other videos coming up, and let me know if you want to see something specific. Talk to you later. Thank you for watching, and subscribe. Bye.